Ai, ko iara ia, ko te iri, ko te urunga tū, ko te urunga pai, ko te urunga mā tike tike, ko te urunga mā ranga ranga, e hika mā matike maranga mōrena. And welcome to the 2020 Bunnings Warehouse National Touch Championships. My name is Te Aorere Pewhairangi, and joining me in the commentary box this morning is General Manager Michael King. E hoa, we have a huge game coming up, and we have a huge next 3 days here.
Morena, e hoa. Yes, beautiful day here at Rotorua International Stadium as we are sitting here on a sunny day looking at the first game, as you say, Kapati Horowhenua versus Thames Valley. Wonderful to be part of the 2020 Bunnings National Touch Championship. I'm looking forward to a great weekend, e hoa. What will, I'm sure, will promise to be excitement, speed, and a lot of really great action on the field. I know that we've got something like 70-something teams here.
Ai, tika tonu tērā, 77 teams all up at this national competition, and you're definitely right. When you said excitement and speed, I'm surprised you're in here in the commentary box with me and not out there, but I'm reading your bio, and it reads you've sadly had to retire early, e hoa.
Sadly, yes, due to public demand from my teammates. Said, look, you're great, but I think you might want to just focus on filling up the drink bottles instead of taking the field. So I took that as a bit of a sign and thought I'd leave the game to the experts out there. But what we have here, because that was centuries ago, what we have here with the under-21s mixed grade here is youth, the exuberance of youth from both these teams. So I'm pretty excited as a first up look at this game.
Oh, absolutely. And we have Kapati Horowhenua against Thames Valley in this under-21s mixed grade. And e hoa, we've seen both these teams bat above their weight. They're only small provinces, but they always come out and show out and do well at these tournaments.
We certainly do. We have, for example, in Kapati Horowhenua, we've got a few New Zealand age group players in here, and one in particular, number 10, Elisa Mataiti, who just most recently came back from the Youth Trans-Tasman Series in Newcastle, Australia, and has also been brought in as part of the New Zealand Open mixed environment, going back to Newcastle. So some excitement, some definite young talent who have played on a high stage, both at Trans-Tasman and in the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And a few weeks ago, we did have the Junior Touch Nationals, and I see a couple of these players have been identified at the ID Touch camps. It's good to see them in the pathway and making their way towards the open grades and to also higher honours in the black jersey.
Yes, look, and we've talked a bit, just a little bit about the players, and we will be covering more as this series and this game occurs, but just also want to shout out to the management staff of both teams here. We've got for Kapati Horowhenua, the coach Pania Gray, and along with her management staff, manager Diana Manu and assistant manager Tammy Ferreira, who's has some of her own children playing in this team. And then across at Thames Valley, we've got Coach Troy Horowhenua with his staff, Vaka Stanley, Sean McRae, and Naomi Ellis. So what promises to be a great battle first game up.
Absolutely. Nō reira, kei te rongo tātou i ngā waiata, we're hearing the world famous 2-minute music, and we see Thames Valley, they will tap the ball off going right to left in the hands of number 10, Michael McCain. He'll be looking to work alongside number 7 down there, Trinity Keith. Hoi. This tap-off will mark the start of the 2020 Bunnings Warehouse National Touch Championship as we see Thames Valley make their way up the field. Nice little dingo play here. Short ball for the second phase play. It's good confidence here early on from this Thames Valley team. They're looking to throw the ball around. E hoa Michael.
Touch call
Good
by
start.
the referee. Good start. Just a slight change up in the pace there. Ball going through hands, but good defense by Kapiti Horowhenua on that first set of 6 by Thames Valley. And here we go. And subbing set coming on. Touch count 3, and Kapiti Horowhenua not quite at halfway yet.
Yes, a nice positive attack here in the orange zone for Kapiti Horowhenua. They look to get a striking set here. Long ball is on, throws it, and a diving catch unfortunately didn't stick. So good positive start here from both teams. Good defense there by Thames Valley.
Great start there by both teams, showing really they're not afraid to let the ball go, but an early mistake in the touch count. So let's see if Kapiti Horowhenua can make this one count.
Yeah, they look to go to this low-risk quickie. Early on, they call these first 3 touches just some wasters before they'll bring in some wider plays. They go to this 3-3 play again. Good corner and save there, but unfortunately, the Thames Valley defensive line is penalised.
I heard you just call earlier, Elhoa, the dingo move, so I just needed to double check that because your coach mentor
Oh, yes.
did call you out last time when we were commentating together.
He was like, hey, that's the weighted name for that move. Call it a 33 play, please. So it's not a dingo they ran before, but they're coming down the short side. This Kapiti Horowhenua under 21 mixed team. They've had a couple of opportunities early on here. Good defense there by this Thames Valley. I like the way they're working. They're defending together, both boys and girls there. That's important in this grade.
Very much so. And I also are they working not just as a unit, but it's actually quite calm as they start to, come off the line. So they know what they're doing. This looks like at this stage they're pretty secure in the knowledge of their own policies.
Oh yeah, tika tonu. So we see this Thames Valley side come to the open side with a nice little scooping play. Yep, and the ref's going to give it. That's our first try out there, Hoa.
Great touchdown there. And leading into that, we could look at about setting up around 20 metres out. So it gave them the opportunity to really have a go at the line without Kapiti Horowhenua setting their defence. So
it's a good transition there from the yard set straight into a striking play. But we see Kapiti Horowhenua back hot on the attack. A little bit of miscommunication out there at the moment. They're moving this defense around. Long ball. They're looking for that right to left. And they've found it. So 1-0 in this under-21s game.
So you could see number 6 for Kapiti Horowhenua, Michael Pua, very prominent on the ball as he starts to dictate the play with his other middle. So if you just tuned in, Kapiti Horowhenua with a reply, 1 Thames Valley 1. As we are still early in the first half of the under-21 mixed game, 2020 Bunnings National Touch Champions.
All right, we see coming back down the short side once again, Thames Valley. The touch has been called. Good defense there by Kapiti Horowhenua. But a nice probing run there.
I really liked how the referee looked at that one there, because I think there was a touch, but because the player slid into the try, did he actually touch them before the ball went over the line? So the referee deems that as a touch was made. So again, Kapiti make their way past the 10-metre line. Their captain, Taiti. Little fumble there. Unfortunate. That's probably the first real error that we've seen in the game so far.
Yeah, that's good maturity shown by both sides. No doubt there would have been a bit of nerves coming into this first game. Not only the first game of the series, of the competition, but also to play on a live broadcast, a live stream and televised game. So good maturity shown by these young players. And I'd also like to acknowledge our refs out there. Some good positive reffing.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. Our referee, our officials are critical to the game. Without them, we will struggle very much to even start a game. So our 3 referees, what I've actually noticed so far, they haven't really played a prominent role in terms of dictating. They've been able just to merge and flow in, which is mark of really good officiating here. So well done.
Absolutely. Go back to what Maya says. The best refs are the ones you don't notice. Reira, we see this Thames Valley team coming up.
Here we go. The last playmaker. He's setting himself up for a scoop this time.
Yeah, nice little chop line there. They're finding success down this left side with the chopping link. Thames Valley go 2 ahead.
Again, you can see their playmaker, number 9, McGray, around the board, dictating play. Takes Thames Valley 2, Kapiti, Horowhenua 1. Also, while we've got this opportunity, I just want to have a shout out to our other sponsors here in Domi, New Zealand. Domi 21, who are sponsoring the 21 mixed grade. One Foundation here based in Rotorua, SAS Sport and Silver Ferns Sport. All these invaluable sponsors enable our game to happen and this event to take place.
All right, awesome. Where would we be without our sponsors? Heoi. As we meet to our sponsors, Kapati Horowhenua make a nice little break down the left there. So they're on the board as we see this 3-3 play. Thames Valley working nicely in the middle early on here. They go to this quickie play. Bit of a shimmy, bit of a dummy, but good defense there.
Nice little off the ground pass there by Pennett. They set that one up, but Kapiti Horowhenua equal to the task defending their line as they start to make their way over halfway with a bit of a goose step. Not afraid to let the ball go and find those extra meters.
Yeah, tika tonu tērā. And you mentioned the goose step. It's come back into fashion as we see a nice little goose step out here. Looking for a mate. But solid mirrors defense there by the Thames Valley team, who look to ruck out. They've done both teams have done well in the orange zone, rucking out and getting some yards, getting to their sub box. Unfortunately, the commentator's curse is out there this weekend, Nehoa.
Yeah, just the slight, if you're watching that, it's just the slight turn of the shoulders, which just meant that pass was always going to go forward, too direct. Just needed to get his hips around a little bit more, so the pass was going to the side. But yeah, it's those little things. I was actually going to say, overall, the game, in terms of the skill level, has been pretty good for first game up. This is just the beginning of the weekend, and if this is what we're seeing so far, as I said earlier, it promises to be an exciting weekend of touch.
All right, tika tonu, as we see this Thames Valley side look to go to their sub box, bring some fresh legs on. We're looking towards the back end of this first half, where we see a few more lapses in the fence. However, Kapiti Horowhenua is up to it at this stage, and they're rewarded with a penalty.
We're just watching that signal there. If you've just tuned in, viewers, the referee, that is a touch and pass signal indicated by the referee there, which means it's a penalty. The team has to go back 10 metres. And again, Evans with the ball on to Richard Evans, finding some space. He's done this a few times.
Yeah, looks like that's their go-to yards pattern. They bring on a fresh link, and that's that mismatch out wide there. And they look to go to that goose step. And we know this Kapiti Horowhenua side can throw right to left. Beautiful pass there, Hoa.
That's a great setup. And beautiful hand shown by Zoe Ferreira for Kapiti Horowhenua. Again, this is a tussle here. The scores are going backwards and forwards as Kapiti take the lead here. 3, Thames Valley 2.
Yeah, some good ping pong early on here. And a nice little grind by Kapiti Horowhenua to claw their way back from a 2-0 deficit. So we see Thames Valley looking to change it up. The idea was there, fake the back door and go back to the short side. Unfortunately, the left to right was about 10 metres forward.
Difficult pass to make anyway, but Craig going from a left to right long ball there. Just not finding the target. And as you said, the ball straying forward.
Koia. So we see Kapiti Horowhenua back on with fresh legs, hot on the attack. Nice little check play there to steal the meters. Good positive touch. Ooh. And a beautiful dive. Tiv, add that one to the highlight reel.
Add that one indeed. Saw it going high. Beautiful pass, finding the space. He knew the winger was coming in. But what do when you're wearing the big S on your chest? You dive. Beautiful dive. Number 14. Latua for Kapiti Horowhenua. Okay, we've seen these players around the ball as they make some really good easy yards going forward.
I like the look of number 2, Makiha, out there at the moment. He glides.
And he just dictating play there with Alexandra. Number 12 for Thames Valley, Zinzan Penny. It's a really nice settle pattern here by Kapiti Horowhenua. They've been able to make the advantage line from most of their transition play through the field. That's great for the yards there. Gore with the ball.
Yeah, unfortunate not to be rewarded there with the recount. Oi.
Referee called that ball to ground there.
So we see Thames Valley here make another crucial little mistake. So the momentum has definitely swung towards the back end of this first half. We see Kapiti Horowhenua with all the possession and the momentum at this time. They go to this 3-3 play, waiting to get their third boy out there. So they're just throwing it around.
Ferreira with the scoop, gives the ball back. Referee.
I think it was forward pass off the ruck.
I think it was there.
So we'll see a lot of consistency in our refs. They would have had a brief before the tournament just to be consistent with all their calls. So maybe perhaps that's something they've looked to stamp out. Is that forward pass off the ruck in the 3-3 plays? Nice little chop line there. Unfortunately, the pass didn't stick.
No, it was a great opportunity there. There was an option there if that ball had gone to the player's hand. Again, Kapiti Horowhenua are not afraid to let the ball go and just look for those extra metres. It's been a good hallmark of Kapiti Horowhenua's play so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only we'll see Kapiti Horowhenua playing this style of touch, I think New Zealand have shifted towards this eyes up style. They do have their patterns, they do have their go-to moves, but more and more teams are looking up and seeing what the defence is presenting. Sometimes that little check can steal you an extra cheeky 5 or 10 metres. So we see Thames Valley here with a nice positive flow. But good defence there by Kapiti Horowhenua.
Rimu Alexandra for Thames Valley. Almost seen the space there, but that was quickly closed down by Kapiti Horowhenua there. They look for the mark going forward now.
I don't see a huge difference between these two teams, but one thing I have noticed is that the ball control by Kapiti Horowhenua. It could be the difference in this first half, completing sets, getting to that scoop, getting to that final play. Thames Valley have made a couple little errors rucking out, inviting this Kapiti Horowhenua side back into their green zone, into the attacking zone.
Yeah, no, you're right there, Ilhua. It's just a few, to be honest, around those errors, just the body position more than anything else. Just need to probably turn their body a little bit so when they pick up the ball, it's not being obvious in their pass.
Oh, beautiful hands there. He got into the lane. They look to run a little follows play there, Thames Valley, but Kapiti Horowhenua defender, sorry, didn't quite catch the number.
Again, yeah, you're exactly right here. Quite good defence. That's where players are making choices around not just playing the man or the player, but more about playing the space as well.
Absolutely. As we see, another set. This could be the last attacking set here for this Thames Valley team. So they'll look to capitalise before the end of this first half. Nice little checks there, but unfortunately another mistake creeping in. This is a prime opportunity for Kapiti Horowhenua to strike before the half, as we see them bring on some fresh legs.
Nice go forward by number 3, James Gall there. Poor setting up. Let's see what the ball looks to go long. Finds his link. As simple as that. The setup there by Gall and Evans. And the cutting link. Potama. Really no defence around him.
Yeah, that's good awareness there. They saw the mismatch. They had the boy attacker on the gill link, and they went for the quickie and then came back to that nice little chopping line. And it's just a clinic out there at the moment by Kapiti Horowhenua.
Yeah, they've certainly taken control here. Kapiti Horowhenua leading as we close in on the first half. 5, Thames Valley 2. Thames Valley definitely having their opportunities there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not out of the game. I think one thing that they'll talk in the box as they do go to the towels in this half time is just ball control. If they can control the ball and have a bit more possession of the ball and better field position, I think they'll be right back in this game, Ehua.
Kapiti Totally agree. And there we go. End of the first half. Kapiti Horowhenua 5, Thames Valley 2. As we are streaming here at the 2020 Bunnings National Touch Championship. Again, just a shout out to our sponsors, Indomie New Zealand, One Foundation, SAS Sport, and Silver Fern Sport. All great contributors who sponsor the game in their own way. Silver Fern are our touchball partners here, so they have a huge part of our game, not at all levels, right up to touch black. So good time to have, I think, the halftime who to go, especially for Thames Valley. Couple of things I would probably be focusing on for Thames Valley is probably just going a bit more direct when they're coming out of the exit area, and just sort of tidying up the ruck area. They've got caught out on a couple of forward passes there. For Kapiti Horowhenua, I'm sure Coach Gray will be looking at just doing more of the same, looking to keep the ball alive.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there. It's just a bit more, just the 1%ers. They don't have to do a lot, this Thames Valley team. They don't have to change a lot. I think their game plan is there, but just their 1%ers, like you said, being square, nice little passes, no forward passes, no errors, and absolutely, we see this Kapiti Horowhenua. I've been very impressed, and I'm not surprised. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised because for a very long time there, down in Kapiti Horowhenua, the open mixed team just dominated the grade. Not only here at the Nationals, but also at the Māori Nationals, winning 5 in a row. And it's just evident today that the skills and the abilities have just filtered down to the next generations.
You're so right here, Hoa. This Kapiti Horowhenua do have a proud history of mixed touch, and especially open mixed touch, having been part of their own dynasty that they've created, and the battles that we've seen over the years with the famous 1990s, early 2000s Bear Plenty teams, with legends like Stevie Waugh, Sopai Eddie Hay, Cecily Stanton, Charlene Bannister, Wade Sharp, the Solomon Boys, just to name a few. You could go on, but again, what I've been impressed with is overall the skill level and the patience shown by both teams here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just comes down to good coaching, being patient, and also showing a bit of maturity out there in these young grades. They will be looking to progress on to higher honours, to the opens grades.
So let's see if the halftime pep talk produces a touchdown. Definitely the right play there. Beautiful passive line run by Kapiti Link. They look to go along the ball travelling forward. However, a good start. You're wanting to have a strike at every opportunity. And if not, as you said last time in Hoa, then the ball goes to the furthest point from the opposition team's sub-box.
Yeah, that's a good start there by Kapiti Horowhenua. And even though they didn't score from it, it's a confidence booster for them, telling them that they can score out wide. Just that last pass, as you mentioned, just went astray.
Again, good speed through the field by Kapiti Horowhenua. I would like, if there was something, and I know that we push this quite a bit in the High Performance and Pathways program, opportunities for players, especially when they're running with the ball, to have the ball in two hands, because I think it just puts doubt in the defender's mind. And there we see, great scoop, ball in two hands. That gives the attacking player options.
Absolutely, and that's the second best outcome you can get off the scoop. Is a repeat set. So we see these low-risk plays, a quickie dive. We know in 1995, I think, Australia came up with this defence because to stop Remus Gentles, who was just carving them up, one-on-one, he was unstoppable. And 25 years later, same pattern is stopping that same move.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Combination of attacking unit there, James Gold. Just unable to break the line this time with Thames Valley. Great defense by Thames Valley as they start to go through the orange zone over to halfway. And we've got McCaskill with the ball. And again, the danger man in the first half here. McRae. Ooh, ball to ground. Great opportunity. Just a error in the last execution.
Yeah, nice positive play there by Thames Valley. Fortunately, that last pass didn't stick. I think maybe number 9, Need-Eye McRae, he could have gone into the in goal as well. He was still standing in the field of play. I think he could have taken a couple more steps just to make it easier for his winger. Hoi, we see this Kapiti Horowhenua side come back down to this short side. Space quickly closes. They're throwing the ball around on this last touch. Bit of a slip there. Great hands.
Great hands. The ball is still alive. The referee saw a touch pass there. The good scramble defence by Thames Valley here. Just able to keep Kapiti Horowhenua at bay as they started to play hot potato there. We talk about Thames Valley. I'm excited. I'm super excited because yesterday I bumped into one of New Zealand touch superstars and legend, Dean Williams.
Oh, kia ora.
Is back playing in the open mixed grade for Thames Valley.
Oh.
So just like that, it looked like a Dean Williams SK touchdown.
Yep, so that's positive news for this Thames Valley side. And also in this under-21s grade, they strike back. So they close the gap to a 2-point margin. And it's good to see Dean Williams, who played for Counties Manukau for a long time there. He's gone home to give back, to teach back. I saw him a couple weeks ago at a tournament down in Hamilton. He's still looking in good nick.
He certainly is. He's definitely come back to show his wares. But just going back to that last try by Thames Valley, you were spot on when you said, look, their game, their game is there.
Yeah.
They've got the game plan. It's just more about their execution. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from this Thames Valley team.
Yeah, unfortunate to get a penalty there. And we mentioned in the first half, Ehua, that this game is a game of momentum, and I feel it has shift to Thames Valley. They're playing positive touch. They're playing confident touch. Nice flow going on here. They'll look to bring on their striker, Zinzan Pene. So this is the 4th touch here. They've gone the length of the field. They're gone back to back. And the ref is going to call it a try. This Thames Valley team has gone bang bang.
They certainly have, Ehua, and their combination again of Penny and Alexandra showing that they have the wares to answer any call back here. And they probably heard what I was saying about Dean Williams, and they were going, Dean Williams, I am the new Dean Williams. Watch me play. And just like that, excitement galore as the sun is streaming through the window here as we have a great spot. And just like that, do we have a reply?
Yeah, so they've called the penalty, so it's back in Thames Valley's hands. So I'm pretty excited here. We've got a game on our hands. See if they can ruck it out. Get some fresh legs out there and break this defense.
Yep, and you certainly called it a touchdown. Thames Valley. I was going to say they're back, but the Thames Valley said they never left. They were always there.
Yeah, so we got a game on our hands. Unofficial score, 5-all at the moment. So we see Kapiti Horowhenua. I'd say they'll look to slow it down here. Just try to dictate the pace of this game because it's all Thames Valley at the moment.
It certainly is, and what has probably been a bit concerning for the coach is that the last 3 touchdowns have all come off a very similar play, so haven't adjusted at this stage. However, both teams are playing the right type of game, the right type of attitude, and you can see the energy levels pick up by Thames Valley now.
Absolutely, the posture, the body position, and the confidence is out there for them now. You spoke about it, and you said all it was the execution. And as I say, execution, that curse again.
But we've seen some really positive play by Thames Valley. They've really come out charging out the blocks in the second half. But again, it's not about Kapiti Horowhenua not having the game plan. It's just about probably settling some nerves now at this stage because the turnaround and the touchdowns in just a short space of time. So I'm sure Coach Gray will be saying to her players in the box, just calm down. Calm down. We know we can score. We know we can defend.
Yeah, nice. And we see this Thames Valley team. Nice little corner and saves there by Kapiti Horowhenua. I've just got a message from Reihana Suter Finch. He's the one who gave me that little background on Remus Gentles about Australia creating this defensive pattern. So give a shout out to our open men's winger. As we see, Thames Valley have gone 4 in a row. Zinzan Penehoa, he's taking control of this game.
Yeah, he's certainly finding his straps this time. He certainly was around the ball in the first half, dictating play. And as we talked about, just little changes in the execution. So this has certainly been a drastic turnaround in terms of Kapiti Horowhenua just being able to find their own straps, get themselves into back into a state where just a little bit more composed. Let's see what they can conjure up this time.
Kapiti Horowhenua coming to this long ball right to...
Differently this time is they didn't rush it. They got themselves a good clean base in the ruck area. Nice to throw those long balls, then we see it start to flow forward. Now this is where Coach Gray will be asking her players to really front up and get a stop against the juggernaut of Thames Valley.
Yeah, nice left to right there. But good defense by Kapiti Horowhenua. There could be the difference towards the back end of this game.
Certainly could be. Sideline referee. The man, the legend.
B-Man.
B-Man. Very fortunate to spend quite a bit of my coaching years coaching that young man. Again, here we go. Kapiti Horowhenua on defense.
Oh, a nice little, just a simple little play there. Little pop with a good saving touch. As we head towards the back end of the second half. Still tied up at the moment.
6-all if you just tuned in here at the 2020 Bunnings National Touch Championship. It's getting down to a nail biter here. And this is just the first game on the live stream. So, whew, let's bring in the oxygen when we get to the finals, I think. Because we're going to be out of breath and we're not even running on the field. Again, this is the combination. This is the other strike up here. Kane.
Yeah, I'd like to see perhaps second phase play here, because this Kapiti Horowhenua corners and saves policy is very strict. Just an easy pop and a quick drop. As we see, a nice little outside play. Bit of a tricks out there. So they'll bring it back to the middle for their last attacking play.
It certainly was a play that we used quite a bit when I was coaching the likes of Sean Brown and another player, extremely talented back in the day when he was playing, Trask Damon, his older brother. Flex people would know. But they definitely played a lot around the bounce out and bounce in those days. And again,
as we say, the bounce out and the bounce in. It's the bounce back here by Thames Valley in the second half. We see through number 10, Michael McCain. He's been one of their go-to players. He's rewarded with a try and takes his team into the lead. What the advice we gave to Thames Valley in the first half, I think the same can be said for Kapiti Horowhenua in the second half.
Yeah, exactly. You know, again, what it's not about probably Kapiti Horowhenua dropping their standards. What we've actually seen is Thames Valley playing to their probably true potential. They haven't rushed. Actually used a lot of patience coming through the field. They come with pace. Yeah, it's exciting. It's close. Kapiti Horowhenua 6, Thames Valley 7 here at the 2020 Bunnings National Touch Championship. And we've got a runaway.
Woo! We'll be happy with that. Remu Alexander just carves them up through the middle. Nothing was really on there. It was just a settling yards run. But he found himself a gap and he streaked away the length of the field to take his team out. And I like the start by this Thames Valley team for the tournament. It'll give them a lot of confidence to know that they can come back when they're down. Sometimes if all the games go too smoothly, you're like, ooh, when are we gonna find that bit of struggle? It's good to have a game that you grind back.
Yeah, and you've mentioned a couple of times the word maturity. You know, when you are down, especially when you're a young player, you can tend to sort of drop your head and say, look, it's all a bit too hard. But great resilience and strength by Thames Valley to say, no, look, we can still stay in this game. We noticed it early as we've got a scoop.
Yeah, absolutely. I like their use of the word maturity, because when teams are down, they usually go away from their structures, they go away from their game plan, they come towards a more selfish style of play. But they've kept to their guns.
Yep, and we've got a hand over there. And, you know, what we're seeing here at the moment is 12 players on the field here, but just give me a quick rundown of the numbers here at the 2020 Bunnings National Touch Champion. What are we talked earlier about 77 teams?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge tournament we have here over the next 3 days in Rotorua at the International Stadium, home of the Steamers, Motakuhe. But we have more than 1,200 players out there across 12 grades. As you said, 77 teams all up from all across the country have come to play 272 games.
272 games, yeah. And we certainly haven't been disappointed on game one of the live stream. As the final hooter goes for this game, and we have seen a great comeback and turnaround by Thames Valley in the second half, unofficially taking the final score out 8 to Kapiti Horowhenua 6.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good start there by Thames Valley. They're a bit shaky in that first half. No doubt it was a bit of nerves as well. But we see Kapiti Horowhenua 6, Thames Valley taking out game 1 here, 8 points to 6.